I must put this disclaimer up here for every other video I show, because I ain't trying to get no more I ain't trying to get no damn copyright strikes. Fair use, ladies and gentlemen. Fair use. Shout out to Pick Book Lessons for this. Let's get into it.
All right, if that's got you upset, this is going to get you more upset, okay? When it comes to Barbie, Ken was nominated, but Barbie wasn't. Yep.
Wait, Ken was nominated for Barbie. What? Yeesh, I wonder why. What happened?
Yep, Margot Robbie was not nominated for her acting. And get this, Greta Gerwig, who dreamed up the whole story about a plastic doll, made this beautiful original film that made $1 billion at the box office, was snubbed for directing. Yep.
In case you haven't heard, the feminists are seething right now.
I mean, just going back to the guy, I got to go back to.
Seneca one said that was unexpected. Oh, okay, yeah, that was unexpected too. But then again, I'm not sure if you saw the movie, but I heard it was not that great anyway. But anyway, it's fair use.
To the Barbie thing, because it's still like it upset me this morning.
Yeah,
It had me going.
We're getting angry, Natalie, today. Heads up.
The Oscar nominations are out, and their beloved movie Barbie, filled with a bunch of feminist baby bop bimbo babble, received 8 nominations. Yet they're still unhappy and crying because Margot Robbie, the lead actress in the movie, did not get nominated for her role, and the director of this feminist film, Greta Gerwig, she did not get a nomination for Best Director. I guess the movie receiving 8 nominations wasn't enough. And technically, the same 2 women they're crying about, they were nominated, just not for Best Director and Best Actress. Greta got a nomination for Best Adapt Screenplay, and Margot Robbie, who not only played the main character, but she was an active executive producer, she still received a nomination when the movie was nominated for Best Picture. And then you have America Ferrera, who was nominated for her role in the movie in the Best Supporting.
And by the way, this is the woman who was in that show Ugly Betty back in the early 2000s, and god damn, she looked good. I ain't gonna lie. This is Ugly Betty right here. Well, she ain't so ugly right now, I'm just saying. Fair use.
Actress category. But what's really adding to their anger is actor Ryan Gosling being nominated for Best Supporting.
Ryan Gosling? As in Hercules Ryan Gosling? Yeah, this is Ryan Gosling, the same guy that played young Hercules back in the late 90s. Not sure y'all remember that show, but back in 1998, there was a show called Young Hercules about the hero of the same name, and Ryan Gosling was the main character. That show came out sometime in 1998, I believe. Had to be at least 14 years old when it came out. Yeah, that's the guy. He was Hercules back in the late 90s. So let's see what they have to say. Fair use.
Actor for his role as Ken in the movie.
And it's just like, also, did they miss the whole moral of the story of Barbie? Yeah. Like, of course, we celebrate just Ken, not the woman who's the lead in it and the icon in it. But actually, I'm stealing this from Brian.
Okay, shouldn't Ken have been the lead in that movie since he's a masculine man? Or better, they could share the lead character with Barbie and Ken? Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that little franchise for obvious reasons, but those y'all young ladies that grew up with Barbie back in the early 80s, 90s, 2000s or whatever, wasn't Kent like Barbie's girlfriend or something? You know, wasn't he the masculine one in the duo? But in this movie, he's depicted as being some sort of simp that just caters to him. At least that's what I got from the trailers. But let me know what y'all thought. If y'all saw that movie when it came out, let me know what y'all thought about it. Because based on the trailers I've seen, it deviates from what I was seeing in the 25, 30 years ago. But okay, let's get back into it. Fair use.
I think this could give Greta an idea for a sequel. Barbie goes to Hollywood and then is snubbed by the elites who choose Ken over her. So just throwing that out there for an idea.
Ah, man, these ads, they really get on my nerves.
Like, comment, and subscribe, because it's just what the doctor prescribed.
And we're back. Fair use.
All of it is a bunch of nonsense. And despite the movie making over $1 billion at the box office, I'm going to tell you why they're lucky to have the 8 nominations they do have. Because if it were up to me, they wouldn't have any. The movie
was it that damn bad? Please explain.
It was trash, and I'll tell you why. But first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates.
Not only should you subscribe to Pink Bowl Lessons, but she gives good shit, but not only.
Like, comment, and subscribe, because it's just what the doctor prescribed.
All right, fair use.
I don't think I've seen you. You dug so deep. You tapped into that
made me
frustration.
upset. Like, it made me upset because they've said in the 96 years of the Academy's history, only 3 women have won in the Best Director category.
3?
And that says a lot right there. I mean, that tells you everything. It's a man's world. And, as much as women changed the game this summer, there was only 1 woman nominated in the directing category.
About the extraordinary box office numbers too. It's
$1 billion.
Maybe she should have done $1 trillion. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
first off, the $1 billion box office, it doesn't mean that it was a good movie. It means they did a really good job getting women and girls on board to support this movie with this feminist programming.
So that's what it was. I kind of figured it was a feminist movie promoting strong, independent women and making men look like they're just beneath them. Yeah, and that's what they were going for. No wonder the movie was. No wonder it flopped. If this doesn't send a message that says the strong, independent woman is not in, I don't know what will. I mean, they're trying to sell it like it's merchandise. Sell this idea that women can be strong, independent, and they're overall better than men. They don't need a man for anything. Well, it's depicted in this movie. I believe that Charlie's Angels movie back in 2019 had a similar idea. It flopped as well. Putting these boss chick masculine women to the forefront over masculine men, it's just not going to sell anything. I'm sorry, but it's not going to sell anything. That's not to say that a film that bashes women is not going to sell any better, but any film that just bashes one gender and supports another gender is just not going to sell. I'm sorry. That's just the way that goes. Oh, what's up, Angela C? Angela C, how you be? Your Discord's top tier MVP. Glad you could join me. You and Cynical missed my last show, so I appreciate y'all stopping by for this show. And she says, I hated Barbie as a little girl. Well, why? You mind explaining why you hated Barbie as a little girl? Because back in my day, I didn't know not one. When I was in preschool, I barely knew any girls who didn't like Barbie. Okay, maybe a few didn't like it, but I barely knew any that didn't gush over the franchise back when it was popular in the 80s, as far as little kids were concerned. Nice of you to join me, Angela C. And like I said, anybody that wants to come up here and talk about this with me, the link is in the description right there. If you're not too busy, Angela or Cynical. I know Cynical doesn't come up here. But Zero, if you're still back there, hit that link and let's chop it up if you want to. But let's get back into this. Fair use, fair use.
Besides, it's been a lot of $1 billion films that did not win an Oscar for Best Director. But when she was like, oh my God, it's been almost 100 years. You only had 3 women who won the award. Cry me a river. Do you know how many Black people won that award, Best Director, in 100 years? 0.
What? So you're telling me no African-American men have won nominees for Best Director in the last century? Ain't that about some shit? And yet they're getting on their high horse because only 3 women won nominees. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Okay, Cynical one said, I had one. Okay, hold on. Okay, Cynical one said, I had one. My parents bought me. The Barbie dolls were boring to play with, so I threw it away. Damn, girl, was it that bad? How were they boring to play with? Yeah, my top tier, MVP, my Discord MVPs are finally here. Oh, and by the way, since you two are here, I want to say cheers, because we're all here for another glorious, happy new year. Said that was Angie who wrote that, not me. What are you talking about? Yes, Cynical. Cheers. What did Angie write, by the way? What are you talking about? What did she write? But anyways, cheers. Glad you two could make it. Angela, you want to come up here and chop it up? You're welcome to it. About to wrap it up after this video when I get to at least a 2-hour mark. But you said you did playing with Barbie dolls was boring. I don't know why, but then again, I guess you could say action figures were more my thing. I mean, as a young boy, action figures were more my thing. You could do more with those than you could with a Barbie doll, I guess. and like Barbie was, and like Barbie was the Lara Croft of the 80s. You know, carrying weapons and all that kind of stuff, flipping and jumping, climbing mountains and shit. So maybe that's why you couldn't have much imagination with Barbie back then. But I'm just saying. Oh, the comment about Barbie dolls. Okay. No, Angela says she hated Barbie as a little girl. She said her legs don't bend. She just stands still straight. You can't sit down, nothing. You couldn't sit down. Okay. I think that, well, I had action figures as a kid. And you know what? When I was in preschool, I had some young girls complain about that. The legs don't bend. But then again, when I was a kid, I had some action figures where their limbs don't even bend. So we're in the same boat. They're called action figures for a reason. Action. You can make them sit down. You can make their limbs bend to do more. Yeah. And me personally, I always hated those action figures where the limbs don't even bend. You can move the arms and legs, but they don't bend. I hated that as a kid, believe me. But anyways, fair use.
So at least you have 3, and the white men you're complaining about, they have the rest of them. But whoop-de-doo, who cares? And even now you have one woman that was nominated. So what's the real issue? Is it that women aren't getting nominated? Or is it the woman that you wanted to get nominated did not get nominated?
Maybe it's a little bit of both. Who knows?
Like America Ferrera says so eloquently, her character says, it is literally impossible to be a woman. Like we always have to be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. Always stand out and always be grateful, but never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that. But again,
yeah, the system is rigged in favor of y'all ladies. I guess y'all didn't get that memo.
And always be grateful.
What's really annoying is her trying to be a victim so bad. And not only that, but she's using emotions to get the women on stage with her and in the audience to support her whining. Like,
you know what she's suffering from, Pink Booklet?
Emotional damage.
Enough said.
The movie got 8 nominations, and she's whining because they didn't get 2 categories.
This film made history. Yeah. Like Greta Gerwig made history as a woman, as a female director, making over $1 billion on this movie. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like the more, yesterday after the show, a lot of things were coming out, like Ryan's statement and everything. And as the day went on, I was getting mad. I was getting mad about it. Like, it's such a snub.
Yeah, that was the goal, for the feminists to talk about this on social media, on daytime talk, and get you upset over nothing.
So maybe first somebody need to explain us the process, and then they need to change the processes. So, more women and more diversity gets into the movie making business and be successful. You need to change the system.
It is, and that's the problem. Is the system is broken. The system is rigged, as we said in America Ferrera's, great monologue that she delivers in that movie. And it's rigged because here is why. And we saw this with Oscar So White. Remember back in 2015? And they thought, well, let's change it up. Let's bring some diversity. Okay, but they did not think, like in the directors, it's directors nominating directors. So it's the peers that are nominating your peers. It's a smaller category. And typically the
So directors nominating other directors. I guess peers nominating other people of the same of the same profession nominating each other. That's what she's saying is going on here. Wow, ain't that about something?
directors tend to lean more male and older. So that tells you everything. They're thinking this movie's a movie about a plastic doll.
Right.
There's no message.
Right.
The message of the movie is so far deeper. You know, I know people who
back in 2007, they made a Bratz movie. Y'all remember when Bratz was popular back in the mid 2000s? They did the equivalent of Barbie. You know, they had a live action movie too back in 2007. Yes, I saw it, but it did not resemble the doll brand that my goddaughter used to gush over when she was a little girl. Yeah. It looked like a typical teen movie. That's probably why it flopped so much. A movie about a brand doll, a doll brand, looked like a typical teen movie. Now, what did Barbie look like? I don't know. A typical cliche, strong, dominant feminist movie depicting women as being strong and men as being weak. So it had no tie-ins to the source material. That's the thing. When you try to make movies based on popular toys and popular trends, it doesn't tie into the source material, or at the very least come with some sort of creative story or something. Yeah, it's going to look like shit. Angel said that Barbie trend was overkill. How was it overkill? Oh, I'm sorry. Cynical one said that Barbie trend was overkill. I can imagine. So yeah, we try to take popular toys and turn them, a popular franchise, turn them into movies with, you know, that don't resonate with what the kids, with what people loved about the franchise. That's going to be a problem. And we've seen that before in the past. Again, they had Bratz the movie, which looked nothing like the doll brand that my goddaughter loved. And to think I was going to buy her that for her birthday at one point, but it is what it is. But anyways, fair use, fair use.
And I've seen comments, people who got up and walked out. They didn't get it. And I'm like, well, because you didn't stick around and try to listen and get to the message of it. It's not a feminist movie.
Right. Oh, yes, it is.
Says who? It's not a feminist movie. Oh, it's not a feminist movie. Are you fucking serious?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro. C-A-P. Cap.
Baby, probably in a fast car, riding with the cap off, pull off with a bad box. Thinking that the guy here capping, I'm not these rappers. You gon' have to cap your ass off and back on it, big on me. Yeah. How about that bitch with that shit on? Okay, my dick, I sit me down and she sit on the shit, him, nigga.
Talking about it's not a feminist movie. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, fair use.
A feminist movie, you know it's a feminist movie. And all this complaining about the system in Hollywood, this is a private industry. If you did not build it, you will not control it. It's like somebody coming over to your house telling you to change your window treatments or move this and that. You don't get to go in somebody else's house and call the shots. You go do that at your own house. The problem is you don't have your own house. So
yeah, the thing is, they want the system to convert itself to whatever's going to make women look and feel good. That's the big problem right there. They want to blame the system and they want to change itself so it can be whatever is going to make them feel good. Yeah, that's the basic gist of it. Fair use.
What do you have to do? Build it.
It's a movie about humanity and that everybody has a role in society and what we play and how we participate. Mm-hmm. You know, Ken is not enough. Like, nobody wants just a Mojo Dojo Casa. Yeah. I mean, how fun would that be? You want a Mojo Dojo Casa?
That's right. Is that Ken's?
That's Ken's house. Yeah. The Kens live in the Mojo Dojo Casas.
Oh, that's in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Mojo Dojo Casa. I'm sorry. What's going on? We're talking about like the jambalaya, like what happens after jambalaya. I sort of zoned out for a second, and then I look at Natalie, and Natalie's yelling, Mojo Dojo Casa! Mojo Dojo Casa! I don't even know. I don't even know where I am right now.
But you're in your Ken.
Right.
Ken living in his like
he's Ken
cowboy world.
Right. You are the Ken of this show. Yes. Right. But here's to your point though, Natalie. I think when you have a situation, not that the other movies and the other directors aren't good at what they do. We just want to be acknowledged and compete for what we do.
Yeah.
And the